Good afternoon, everyone. Midway Piper here. I hope all is going well. It's Friday, and you know what that means. It means it's time to lose some followers. I don't know. Every time I do a Pipes and Books, I seem to lose a couple subscribers. So, whatever. I enjoy it, so I'm going to keep doing it. Before we jump into that, though, housekeeping. Today, I have my Mark Tinsky Pipe Cottage Straight Apple. Speaking of Pipe Cottage, congratulations, Harrelson family. If you don't follow, Alan's wife is pregnant again, so congratulations. And if you don't like Pipe Cottage, move on. You don't need a comment. If someone wants another kid and they get pregnant, congratulations. In it, GOP's Samara. Showed you this yesterday. Mature red Virginias, Latakia, Oriental leaf, a hint of lemon Virginia for a bit of brightness to the smoke, and a touch of Perique. So, essentially in English, which I do enjoy. I do enjoy. All right. It's been a very busy reading week. Very busy. I have read a lot. I have finished a lot. Trying to think of the best order to do this in. Got it. I figured it out. All right. Whoa. First book I finished. Red Shirts by John Scalzi. I showed you this when I was reading it. This was a physical read, so it took me longer to get through it than just listening to it on audio. It is full of John Scalzi humor, which I do enjoy. If I had to describe this book, I would describe it as a mockery of Star Trek Voyager. Yeah, I think that's a good way. Was it Voyager? I think it was Voyager. It's the one with the female captain. Whichever Star Trek series that was. Never liked it. The plot always just seemed very weak on it. They always defaulted to some sort of time travel thing or alternate dimension kind of thing. It just, yeah. Wasn't my cup of tea. I like Deep Space Nine. Voyager, no, not so much. And forgive me if I'm getting the wrong Star Trek series. I'm pretty sure it's Voyager, though. So I actually really enjoyed that because, it's kind of a mockery of it. I gave it, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. Pretty good book. not my favorite John Scalzi, but um, I think 4 is the lowest I think I've ever given one of his books, so it was good. It was worth a read. Red Shirts. Okay. Next on the list, 2 little novellas. The next 3 books are written by the same author. I highlighted him last week, I believe. He's a horror writer. The first of them is this book here, Kill Your Darling. And it's about a couple. I won't give any spoilers, don't worry. It's about a couple, and their son is killed, found in an abandoned lot not far from their house. And it sort of goes into how the couple sort of grows apart. And it highlights the dad, who becomes obsessed with trying to figure out who killed his son. They don't have a culprit. And the wife gets worried about him, and so she signs him up for a creative writing class because he doesn't get out of the house much anymore. Calls the police station every day to see if there's any updates on the case. And this is years after it happened. Still doing it. Creative writing class turns into a way of the dad trying to essentially solve his son's murder. And, well, that's all I'll say about it. I also gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Clay McLeod Chapman. Always get his name wrong. Chapman is the author. Pretty good book. It's a short novella. 100 and... right around 200 pages. I guess it's a novel. 4 out of 5 stars. I would certainly recommend that. The next one is definitely a novella. Written also by Clay McLeod Chapman. Stay on the Line. Very small book. The actual story itself is about 50 pages. And this story is about a small town, coastal town, and a massive hurricane rips through the town and devastates the town. And one of the few things that remains relatively undamaged is an abandoned telephone booth. Somehow, despite all the damage to the area, this telephone booth survives. And no spoilers really, but after the storm comes through, people start to realize that they can talk to relatives who died on this phone. And the impending chaos that comes about. Stay on the Line. Again, Clay McLeod Chapman. It's a short one. If you don't know if you would like his writing, and you don't want a huge commitment, this is a good one. Stay on the Line. I think I also gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Now you might be thinking at this point, that's all you ever give books. No, not true. This has just been a very good week of reading good stories, so that's all I can say on that. Before I get to the next couple books, the next one is a current read, actually, what I'm currently reading, on the verge of finishing up. These GLPs, I guess it's the Latakia. It's very nicely aromatic. Yesterday, with the Key Largo, I mentioned there was like a incensey kind of aspect to it, and this one has it as well, which I really enjoy. Next up, what I'm currently reading, but I think I have like 50 pages at most left of it, so it's pretty much as good as done. I'll probably finish it up later today or tomorrow. Also by Clay McLeod Chapman, Acquired Taste. This just came out, and it is a collection of short stories, and it's also signed by the author. Boom. There are some very interesting stories in here. Again, another pretty good intro. If you're not sure if you want to commit to one of his novels, there's a lot of short stories in here to read and pick up. I will say, if you decide to pick this book up, Acquired Taste, there are several things you will never look at quite the same. You will never look at baby carrots the same way. You will never look at hermit crabs the same way. You'll never look at, what do you call them? Labubus, I think. Those tiny little gremlin stuffy things that you see people with all the time on their bags and keychain to themselves, and the gnarly little sharp teeth. They're not called Labubus in the story, but you know when you read it, that's what it's talking about. Yeah, you'll never look at any of those things the same way, and all those are different short stories, so you're not going to get one story that has to do with all of that. You will never look at ears the same way. Ears, you'll never look at them the same way. I think that's quite the gamut, right? I think so, yeah. Fireplaces. Gardening. Hammers. Flesh-eating bacteria. Yeah. I think there's just about everything is covered in here. Child abduction. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in here, so. As far as a rating goes, again, I'm almost done with it, so. I enjoy his writing. I don't know that the short story medium is necessarily for me, because I like character work so much. And you don't have much time to become very well acquainted. He does a great job. You definitely get into the stories, but it doesn't give you much time to really get to know the characters very much, shall we say, because they're such short stories. Not bad. There's just, I would probably give this one a 3.5. Again, not because bad writing or anything like that, just because I like more character development than short story format allows. Tomorrow I'll probably do a book haul, and you'll see that I'm collected most of Clay McLeod Chapman's works. So there we go. Now the other two books I finished this week are by another author who I didn't find out until recently. But after reading these two books by him, I would probably go out on a limb and say that he might be one of my all-time favorite authors, which is crazy. I don't think there's recency bias in that. I don't think. Simply meaning because I've read them recently, I think they're some of the best books I've read in a while. If you like character work, you like a good plot, solid character work, might I add, good plot, I would recommend checking out Eli Craner. Eli Craner. Eli Craner. Check him out. Good stuff. I read and finished 2 of his books this week. He's got 4 books out total. The first one I finished, and I showed you this, I think last week, is a book that I was reading at the time still. First one was Broiler. I think I'm reading these in kind of reverse order, actually. This is his second most recent book. This takes place in, he lives in Arkansas, so most of his books take place in Arkansas. Chicken processing plant. And it follows 2 couples, one of which is a married couple. The husband is the manager of this broiler plant, and his wife and their relatively newborn child. And the other characters it follows, they are a couple. They're not married. They live together, and they are immigrants, and they are workers at this broiler plant. And the story intermingles these 2 families, and it is quite the crime novel, quite the story with just amazing character work. I would say that there is not, and this would normally bother me in a story, but there is not a single character that you really want to cheer for. There is no character in the story that is super likable. And yet, it's a great story. Absolutely loved it. Broiler. 5 out of 5 stars, hands down for sure. This is a great one to start with. If you're looking for a crime novel, this is a great one. And again, amazing character work. Even though none of them are likable, it's amazing character work. So check out Broiler if you're interested in that. And then the other one, and this just sort of goes to show how much that book impressed me, because this next book by him, this is his most recent one. It came out this year. I think in the last couple of months, actually. You can still go to the store and find it in hardcover. I do prefer hardcovers. in this novel, also by Eli Craner, Mississippi Blue 42. Mississippi Blue 42. Look at that artwork. So this is also a fiction story. This is, like I said, as far as, how much I enjoyed Broiler, this story is about college football. And this might be controversial, I don't think I could give two hoots about sports. I just don't care. I never played them. I was never interested in them. I don't like watching them. But I like this book. So what's it about? It's about an FBI agent, a newly minted FBI agent. Her dad is she idolizes him. He is a college football coach, very successful one. And she wants to work in serious crimes, major crimes, and because of her background, her dad, she gets sent on her first task to a town in Mississippi, a college town in Mississippi. Because there's some suspicion of corruption in the world of college football. And early in the story, a highly successful white quarterback ends up taking a topple off a roof after a game win. And along with him goes a bag of money. Which sort of begins the crime part of the story. It is full of bagmen, people who pay college athletes for various outcomes if they perform them. It is about government corruption. It is about the things we don't know until we know them. I think that's a pretty accurate summary. Mississippi Blue 42 by Eli Craner. I'm on the fence with that one. It's either a 4.5 stars or 5. It's a lot of books this week. I didn't start and finish all of them, but just to show you real quick. It's a lot of books since last Friday. So, what's on the docket for this week? I have no idea. Most likely, I will read another one of the Eli Craner books. I've got 2 more, his other 2 novels. His first 2 novels. So I'll probably read one of those. I'm on the fence because him and Clay Chapman, I'm really enjoying their stuff, and I don't want to get burnt out on it, but I'm excited to keep getting into more of their stories. So I don't know. I don't quite know. An Eli Craner book is, I think, pretty much 99% going to be on the docket for this upcoming week. I don't know what else I'll pick up yet. That'll be a surprise. Keep you guessing till next week what I could be reading. As far as GOP Samara goes, it's pretty good. Pretty good. There's definitely something a little different to it than your standard English. Oh, crap. But yeah, that's about that. I've got to go pick up my son from school now. And then we're going to do a Friday evenings now. We're going to do some sort of family event. And this week, my son has chosen, and he wants to go to the pool. Yeah. Gingers and pools don't really go together so well. But that was his choice, so off we'll go. Alright, guys. I'll probably do a book haul video tomorrow, just to lose a couple more subscribers. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.